Why moving is important. Quality of movement has everything to do with quality of life. So even if you're thinking that the person you care for, or maybe yourself, has very limited mobility and there's not a lot you can do, so why bother? I can't walk anymore, or whatever. There's so many different examples. You need to realize that whatever you can do, if you improve the quality of that motion, that movement, that action, by just a small percentage, that is going to carry over into a better quality of life for multiple reasons. So I like to start with the idea that just breathing can be improved. So if you're caring for somebody who is bedridden, and maybe they don't walk around much, maybe they're really just in a hospital bed, even right there, you can help them to achieve improved movement by helping them with breath. There are some simple exercises that can be done to increase one's ability to mobilize their rib cage. I know for a fact that I have worked with patients who are hospice level care, or very chronically ill, or so deep into the dementia stage slash Alzheimer's with hallucinations and just inability to follow through on like following directions, that type of thing, that the only thing that I could connect with them in regards to exercise was with breath, but it worked. About how are you breathing? So while I'm talking, just take a couple breaths in through your nose. And what do you feel? Exhale. Pay attention to your regular breath. Something we just don't pay attention to enough, and it is the strongest factor in improving so many different areas. I mean, that could be a whole other topic in itself, and maybe we will go there sometime, but pay attention to how you breathe. Now, if you alter the way you're breathing and you inhale deeply and slowly through your nose with your mouth closed, paying attention to what parts of your trunk, meaning from here to here, are moving. Is your chest rising? Are the sides of your ribs expanding? Now, what if you change that? What if you try to keep your chest still? You breathe in deeply through your nose and your belly expands, and then you exhale and you draw your belly in. Thinking about that alone, can you feel and see how it could be an exercise? Now, imagine that you are taking care of somebody who is bed level or wheelchair level. Imagine being able to coach them through a little bit of breathing exercise every single day. Not only would it increase their ribcage mobility, the sternochondral area right here, so your sternum is here and your ribs are here, and there are where they come together, there's mobility there. And your clavicles, especially in the elderly and people who aren't upright and walking around a lot, these get really tight forward and in like this, and just breathing can help to open that up and set them a certain way, and that can help to alleviate pain. So without going down a whole rabbit hole of this, I'll do another video just on that. And actually, I'll link to a YouTube video right here where you can watch breathing exercises for someone who sits, but same principles can apply to someone who's laying down. So I just want you to think about that. No matter what level of mobility your loved one has, it can be improved upon. Now, if the one you care for is totally mobile and they're walking around and they can go up and down stairs and everything, just consider this for a moment. Are they doing it the same way they did 5 years ago, or have they lost quality of movement? I can even say for myself, I have lost quality of movement and my ability to go up the stairs because I have a chronic knee issue. Nothing major, but I had ACL surgery, and so it sort of always lingers there, and I can definitely feel a difference in the way I go up the stairs. So if I make a conscious effort to activate the right muscles and to control how I'm stepping up the stairs, my quality of movement is better than if I'm not paying attention to it. Okay, so with this principle in mind, this whole the whole objective here of this video training is to consider the mobility that your loved one has currently, even if it's just breathing, and consider how it can be improved. So there's a couple things to keep in mind. Don't have to do a lot to make a difference. Small amounts of change over the course of time with consistency will make a big difference. So now let's jump to, let's say what we were talking about, walking up the stairs. How could the quality of that mobility be improved? If your loved one is currently going up the stairs, but it looks ugly, like it looks like, oh, think about what could be improved about that. What if you added a handrail on the opposite side? What if as they're ascending, instead of looking down, they were looking up? Okay, what needs to happen in order for that to occur? It doesn't just happen. You don't want to have to stand behind your loved one every time and tell them that. So it's a way of breaking down what you're looking at, what components are missing, what can be improved, how do you improve it? So once you have that figured out, you can at that point start making improvements by breaking the task down. So again, going to stairs, okay? If you add handrails, what does that automatically do? This is just like a little mini, this is how my therapist mind works. This is what I look for, and this is how I calculate out where I'm gonna address, what areas I'm going to address next. So if they're constantly with their head down and their gait pattern is very slow going up the stairs with a heavy limp, think about if you start putting a handrail on both sides and they put their arms out, what's going to happen? They're going to lift their head up to be looking where they're going to place the hands, right? First of all, so right there you have a slight improvement. You're increasing stability because you're giving them something to hold and support left and right sides of the body. You are giving them a forward progression and an upward progression as opposed to a downward, this position. So just some real basics just to give you an idea. Think about standing, okay? What does it look like when they stand? Are they really hunched over? Do they lean to one side? Do they get out of breath? Whatever these elements are, once you identify them, you kind of have to have a very critical eye, and you don't want to be verbally critical to your loved one. You need to look at this. I'm just giving you the therapeutic skills to visualize and know what you're looking at. So when you look at the mobility they have, first I want you to see what they have and where are they lacking, okay? And then you're going to say, okay, I'm gonna work with what I have and I'm gonna improve upon what we have. The first objective would be to increase the duration. So if they currently are able to sit up at the side of the bed to get dressed, but then pretty much the rest of the day, they're sitting on a couch, right? And they're supported and they're leaning against something. So I just want you to consider this. If I'm sitting upright, I'm using a bunch of muscles, okay? Even though I'm not like actively thinking about it, but I am. As soon as I go to like this and I lean against the wall, I'm not using the same muscles. So if you increase the duration of which time they are actively using posture and muscles and activity, that's step one. And then think about how to increase the frequency of this. So let's say they cannot increase the duration of time that they're actively engaged in some activity due to back pain or dizziness or blood pressure changes, fear factors, whatever it may be. If that's not possible, then look at frequency. Okay, so-and-so can only do fill in the blank for 15 seconds, and that's all they've got. Okay, well, let's start repeating that 15-second activity multiple times a day. How many times are they currently doing it? Twice. Let's increase it to 3 times and then 4 times. When the frequency begins to increase, even though the duration is poor, you're going to see a change in their ability level and their willingness, and there's going to be a nice carryover, which should then allow for increase in duration. Ideally, you want an increase in both, and this is how you're going to achieve greater mobility overall. And why is this important? It's important because if you can improve quality of movement, you can improve quality of life. I know that's a very big statement, but just think about it. If you could improve one aspect of movement for yourself, whatever that may be, think about that right now. I wish I could do this one thing. And imagine that you snap your fingers and that is instantly better. Does that add value to your quality of life, that the experience that you have in your life? Does it bring you joy? Does it increase your energy level? Does it increase your socialization? Yes. So this is why it's so important, and we should not give up on people that we may consider unable to exercise, okay? So even if you think, oh, this person can't exercise, or they won't do exercises, this is another big one that I hear from a lot of caregivers. My mom only does this when you come, and she won't exercise any of the rest of the time. And we're talking exercises like, your traditional therapy exercises. Well, that's pretty typical. So caregivers, don't feel bad. You can sneak in therapeutic activity, which is a form of functional exercise, and you can achieve great progress with your loved one by just taking what they currently do and they enjoy doing, and maybe they do it well, and increasing the frequency, duration, and improving the quality of which they do it. So just start with what you have. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't be too regimented about it and make it like a chore for your loved one, unless they're one that is challenged by that. And see what happens. So that's my tip. This training, a little mini training on why it's important to move with quality and how improved movement improves quality of life. So I would love a comment, question. Let me know what you think here. Check out caregiverbydesign.com for another option there to leave me your comments and let me know what you would love to know more about. Check out Caregiver by Design, the podcast, where you can listen to more on this topic in its entirety. If you're one that likes to listen to stuff on the go, we break this down a little bit more, and you can listen to it and listen to it again. And if you go to caregiverbydesign.com, where I am going to give you the link, and you access the link, or just look at caregiverbydesign.com, you will scroll down and see an option to receive seated exercises. It's a video that you can play for your loved one, where I walk them through some very basic exercises with no equipment. And this includes breath, it includes postural mobility, so how they sit up, how they turn their head. All these things are work. I encourage you to check it out as well, because you will notice that you will feel something happening with your body, that it is a great way to start moving. So check those resources out, and I will see you again at the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to share this, subscribe to this channel for continued free training and resources and links, and I wish you all well. Thank you, Caregiver, for what you are doing. You are making a difference in our society, and I encourage you to keep on giving it your best. You cannot do it all. Don't forget to take care of yourself, invest in yourself, and be honest about your feelings. Those are the biggest tips I can offer out there. Thanks again, and I will see you at the next training, and I hope to hear from you soon.